we automatically assume that disabled individuals have harder life. Mozu, a Japanese snow monkey, had abnormal hands and feet, presumably caused by pesticide pollution. In an episode of a nature program, her life was intentionally shown to make viewers feel pity for her.
Mozu was born in the spring of 1971. Her mother, Mori, already had 6 offspring, but Mozu was her first daughter. None of her limbs had the normal number of bones, and those she had were bent and twisted. The cause of these deformities is still not known for certain, but pesticide poisoning is suspected. These birth defects deeply concern the scientists.
They used the dramatic background music and voiceover to describe how hard it was for Mozu to live. The intention there was to make the viewers' audience feel pity for her. The researchers who watched Mozu and her troop doubted that she would even make it past infancy. However, in fact, Mozu lived 28 years, raising her children and grandchildren. Some even wished for crippled animals' immediate euthanasia. There was one pig with small hind legs that he couldn't even walk on. The pig gained a lot of recognition when his video of him using a wheelchair went viral on the internet.
What'd you eat?
Many commenters, however, wished for his euthanasia. They automatically assumed that his life was miserable just because he couldn't walk properly. On the other hand, some praised him for raising awareness for disability as a pig. But we wouldn't say someone on a wheelchair should be euthanized just because their life is too miserable to keep going. We just assume that the only fittest non-human animals survive. This is dangerous because it negates the other aspects of an animal's life. For example, vulnerability, weakness, and interdependence. We just think it's unnatural for disabled non-human animals to even exist. However, the willingness to care about other disabled individuals is seen among a lot of species, including silverback gorillas, dogs, pigs, wolves, elephants, and the list goes on. Those animals would stop for the disabled individual to catch up with the herd, and once the crippled or disabled catches up with the herd, they resume walking. A primatologist, Franz de Waal, brings up a theory called learned adjustment, which is a process of healthy members recognizing the limitations of their less fortunate mate. Simply put, some animals are capable of noticing when an individual is disabled. The behavior to care about the less fortunate is called cognitive empathy, which is to think in someone's shoes or someone's shoes, depending on the animals. Get it? Because it doesn't have to be humans all the time. So when someone is hurt, most of us have the ability to empathize with them, and it is suggested that we can see that behavior among non-human animals as well. The difference between cognitive empathy and learned adjustment is how familiar we are to certain disabilities or disorders. For example, if someone is missing a limb, it is easy for us to imagine what their life would look like, and as well as their struggles, which is cognitive empathy. We know it like immediately. Whereas if someone has a disorder that we've never heard of, it becomes learned adjustment, because we have to have gradual process of learning about it to understand what it feels like to have that disorder. I have autism, and I understand when someone doesn't understand autism or what autism is like, because it is not visible. But we have our own struggles as autists, so in the future I would like to raise awareness for the autistic people, so stay tuned. So going back to the topic of animals and disabilities, surprisingly, disabled animals are rarely studied by those who study animal behavior. And I feel like this is because researchers often focus on what effects that disabled animals have on able-bodied population, rather than focusing on what is going on inside a disabled animal. We tend to neglect what it's like to be disabled or to have disorder by just feeling pity. We just tend to think disabled animals are meaningless as they give no values to the community. Is this true though? Because of the ableist view that most of us have, we just tend to think that lives of disabled animals are not worth living. We tend to focus on what disabled individuals would provide us with, which only focuses on productivity and accuracy of one's action. Should we just all be slaves to give something back to the society all the time? I don't think so. There's something more than that. We do more than just working. We can experience love and the sense of belonging, and it is not limited to humans, but also non-human animals, just like I explained earlier. To do so, we need to better understand what individuals with disability feels. As you probably know by now, the disabled individuals include non-human disabled individuals as well. We should also note that just because someone is disabled doesn't mean they cannot provide us with anything. Anyone can influence others in some way, just like the pig on a wheelchair. Anyone can raise awareness for the disability. For example, no matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you're disabled or not, you are worthy of love and you have something to share with the rest of the world. Thanks to all of my Patreons. If you don't know what Patreon is a platform where subscribers can get exclusive content from the creator. My Patreon page is all about forming connection with other vegans and becoming mentally stronger in this non-vegan world as vegans. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below. If you support me, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching until the end. And I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.